Okay. Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rodney Poole, and I am with Talk It Out NC. We are the governor's initiative to reduce underage drinking here in the great state of North Carolina. And I am joined by two experts at being high school seniors in the year 2020 during a pandemic. Oh, my goodness. I got to say this really quickly. I have so much love for you guys and admiration for doing this. You all, you're making history. I mean, how many times has people's high school lives been disrupted by this type of situation? I mean, it goes back to maybe Vietnam, and before that, maybe like the plague or something. So, mad props to doing, to hanging in there. Let me ask you this real quick. Oh, let's back up. If you would please introduce yourselves to the world.
Ladies first.
Okay,
I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that because some ladies say no. Yeah. So, go ahead, Elizabeth.
My name is Elizabeth Perkins, and like Mr. Poole said, I am a senior in Orange High School.
All right. I'm Isaac, also a senior,
Awesome.
also at Orange High School.
Awesome. And they have actually agreed to volunteer their time and participate in this panel because they're amazing people. So I have put together a list of questions most frequently asked by younger students, younger than seniors, and asked by parents in my 10 years of traveling the world, talking to kids about alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. So we're gonna just go through the questions. And real quick, let me share why we're doing this, because perceptions very frequently drive behaviors. If people think that everyone at high school drinks, then that 8th grader or 9th grader coming into high school will probably think that they're supposed to drink. But perceptions very frequently can be incorrect. But if a person is operating under an incorrect perception, if they think that's the norm, then you can see where the problems are. So we want to highlight the fact that not all kids are drinking, not all kids are vaping, and not all kids are smoking weed. Okay, so question number one. Panel, what are some reasons why you have chosen not to use alcohol, tobacco, or other drugs?
Well, for me, it's like from even like elementary school, like I've been learning like from the DARE program and all these other programs of like, just don't do it. There's nothing good. There's no reason to do it. And it's just kind of like nailed into my head. Don't do it. And I just kind of followed it. I mean, there has to be some reasoning behind all these people telling me not to do it.
Interesting. So you were listening.
I guess so, yeah.
Wow. So repetition. Interesting. Elizabeth, same question.
I think for me, it's mostly, I know personally that it would really affect my health for not right now, but definitely for the future. It could affect my lifespan and what kind of choices I make. So I really don't want to be put in a bad position for that.
Awesome. So you're looking ahead. Awesome. Where did you get that information from about the possible physical health effects of alcohol, tobacco, or other drugs as a teen?
Probably from a lot from my parents. They talked to me a little bit about that. And my teachers and the DARE people from elementary and middle school, I just kind of kept that information, I guess, took it to heart.
Interesting. So conversations and repetition. This is what I'm hearing. Parents, other adults, other caring adults had conversations with you all, and you all are listening. That's great, because that is true. The research is very clear. The earlier a person starts using alcohol, tobacco, other drugs, the higher the risk for addiction, higher the risk of alcoholism, higher the risk of academic and athletic performance being negatively affected, the higher the risk of having to lie to your parents and all that other stuff. All right, awesome. Let me ask you this. You all go to the same high school. Is there pressure at your school to drink, vape, smoke weed, or use other drugs? If so, what does that pressure look like?
Personally, I don't see a lot of pressure, but I feel like if there was, it would be through like peers at least, especially in like places that aren't as monitored, like bathrooms or like our stairwells at school.
Okay,
I know are
okay.
an interesting place to hang out.
All right. Now, don't give all the secrets. Don't give all the secrets away. Now you don't.
I think it's mostly like who you hang out with, who your friends are. If you choose your good friend group, you
Yeah.
really don't see it much. I'm sure like it's happening every now and then in school. I know for me at least, I don't see it because my friend group doesn't do any of that stuff.
Awesome. Wow. So what I'm hearing is it really depends upon who you hang around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Impressions. Yeah.
Yeah. Choose your friends wisely. Choose your friends wisely. That's awesome. That's awesome. So what is the difference between teens who drink casually and teens who have a problem? What do you think that might look like? Hold on. Let me back up. Do you all know anyone, maybe not at your school, but in your age group that might be doing some of these things, drinking, smoking weed, vaping?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. So no names, please, no names. All right. Okay. So what's the difference? How would you know, is there a difference between casual consumption and a problem? And how would you know when that line is crossed?
There's lots of warnings you can kind of see in your life as things you start losing relationships, so you start going down in school. There's definitely certain things you can kind of see as this starts falling off, this falls off, and it kind of shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could probably see they probably have mood changes compared to when maybe they're really upbeat, happy type of personality, and then if they have a problem, they could be more almost depressed. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Do you think that usage might increase for a person that has a problem compared to the casual user?
Yeah.
Frequently happens. Yep, frequently happens. Absolutely. Let's offer some tips. Let's offer some tips to the incoming freshmen, 8th graders who are coming into. You all have 8th graders go to a different school.
Yeah.
When's your high school? So 9th grades, 9 through 12 for Orange High. Okay, so 8th graders. What do you wish you had known when you were coming in as an 8th grade, as a rising 9th grader or rising 8th grader? Yeah.
Definitely the numbers. People say a lot of people are doing this and this, and just definitely just seeing the numbers and maybe the little pie chart that shows this is really big, this is really small.
Interesting.
Visuals really, visuals definitely a group of people show the number of people here that are, number of people here aren't, to see the comparative group of there's 2 over here and there's 30 over here or something. That would really help.
Yeah. Did you have incorrect perceptions when you were coming in about what you thought high school was actually going to be compared to what it actually was like?
Now that I think about it, no, but at the time, yes, because so it had been 3 years since I had any actual dare group come in or some alcohol group come in, so I kind of forgotten.
Yeah.
Because when they came in for dare, they weren't talking about high school. They were just talking about just don't do this in the future.
Right.
I had another group come in and just tell me hey guys, this is actually the numbers for high school. Do it again, a little touch up, maybe one day, maybe 1 hour probably, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and now I was a part of the organization that did just that. We might come in for a day, 2, maybe even 4 days in some cases, and work with 1 or 2 grades and give you the deal, what's going on currently in your age group, talk about what the risks are, because it becomes a much more relevant discussion as you get older. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
sure. Yeah.
Start driving. Yeah.
Start driving. Do y'all go to parties? Maybe not now,
so
but
much.
prior to COVID?
Not so much.
Really? Not ever. Okay. Do our parties had at Orange High School? Do they have parties every once in a while?
You hear about every now and then. Not
Yeah,
too
you
often.
hear about some, but
No big parties like you see in the movies. Yeah. They never you never hear about that. It's always groups of 8. I mean, I have parties with my friends, but not like that. We're little bonfire. That's all.
Yeah,
it's nothing like that.
Okay. Yeah, I was watching something earlier about that today, about how that's kind of not really Hollywood is one way, but in reality,
it skews reality.
Yeah,
it's really. Blows it out. Yeah, blows it out of proportion. Yeah. Elizabeth, same question. Things you wish you had known when you were coming into high school.
Oh. I don't know. I guess maybe people are nicer than they make them out to be in middle school. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I always had this perception of these big, scary, senior people that would come beat up the little freshmen or something. and then I go to
Yeah.
school and that didn't happen. So that was nice.
Yeah.
That would have been nice to know.
Yeah. Yeah. Where do you think that perception came from?
I don't know. Maybe from like
Weird.
movies.
I
Probably.
remember.
Definitely Hollywood. Definitely
Yeah.
Hollywood.
I remember having the same feeling back in the 80s, coming into high school, thinking I'm going to get beat up on freshman Friday. You know, all the seniors are going to, and seniors weren't thinking about me. I'm like, okay, when's it going to happen? It never really happened. It never happened.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about it. What would you tell incoming freshmen today, based upon your experience at your school?
I would tell them to, I don't know, just make sure you're with the right friends, like you have the right influences, and you don't try to have people get you to do bad things like drugs.
Yeah, yeah. How did you find your friend group, your tribe, if you will, Elizabeth?
Um,
Well, do you have interviews or?
uh, I guess I've had the same friend group for
Okay.
Since like 6th grade probably.
Okay, okay. So you've been cool for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Same question, Isaac. What do you think? What would you tell freshmen coming in?
Well, tell freshmen coming in is use like your resources. Like you got teachers, and at least at our school we have plus lunch. It's like an hour of lunch that you allowed to come in
Nice.
and talk to your teachers.
Nice.
Like if you're not doing too well in a class, just go in, take the responsibility, and just go in and talk to them.
Absolutely.
They're thrilled
Absolutely.
to help you.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I guess for the other question you asked about the friend group earlier, I guess like I've also had my friend group for a long time. So like we got like the very beginning of middle school.
Okay.
And all of us went over to the same high school, so that was really helpful too.
Nice.
So
Nice.
the same
Yeah.
friend group. I've known them for a long time, and
Yeah.
we kind of help each other. I had one friend that didn't make the best
Yeah,
choice
yeah.
once, and we all kind of like shunned him a little bit, just put him in his place a little bit, and it worked. Wasn't done again.
Really? That was helpful.
Yeah, we
Wow. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, yeah. Wow, you mentioned a couple things. That I love that idea of traveling together as a group, kind of because you're kind of experiencing the same things. You got somebody to sit with at lunch that you know. You don't have to walk around the cafeteria with your lunch like, where do I go? I don't know anywhere.
First day of school isn't scary. Yeah.
First day of school, right? You got your boys with you. Yeah, that's awesome. Let's see. What about so? I know the COVID has like really changed things, meeting wise. How many days a week are you all actually face to face at school? Has that happened yet for you all or no?
No,
Zero.
we're supposed to go back probably at the end of January.
Okay. Wow. Ooh, I'm impressed, man. Let me ask you this: How are you hanging together? How are you keeping it together? Because you all seem like you're very positive. I'm getting very positive vibes from both of you.
Yeah.
Like self-care. What have you been doing?
Oh, I don't know. Stepping back, definitely, since we don't have, since we're not in school for as long as we would be if we were face to face.
Right.
It's given, personally for me, a lot of time to just kind of step back and like relax. Especially now with college applications, I've gotten more time than I
Nice.
would have.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're using your time wisely. You're not just eating and sleeping and
Yeah.
going to class. How many hours a day are you all on like virtual classes?
From 10 to 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
10 to
so
3 every
we're-
day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that takes discipline, I'm guessing. I'm believing.
It takes a toll on your eyes.
Oh, I'm sure.
The stare at the
my
screen
goodness.
for 5
Yeah.
hours every day.
Wow. Y'all play video games?
Yeah, so that adds on too. So I'm getting like I'm getting like more than I sleep, but just on the screen. It's like it's terrible.
Yeah. How about you, self-care wise, Isaac? What are you doing?
Like every now and then hang with my friends still, but like
Okay.
wear masks and all that stuff, and like distanced.
Yeah.
Every now and then we actually go camping outside, so like, we still
Nice.
get to like do like a sleepover and like
Yeah.
talk all night. We still have the fire going in the middle,
Right.
we're like-
Nice.
but like we're still distanced and we're outside. So
Yeah. So there is some social interaction. There's some,
Yeah,
you're with your
we're
boys.
finding our workarounds, like what we
Yeah,
can do
yeah.
that like we're still outside, we're
Yeah.
spaced out, and we still sleep over all at the same time.
Awesome. That's like so cool, man. Keep doing that. Keep doing that. I really want to encourage you guys to hang in there, man. I'm really believing that you're going to be better people as a result of having come through this. You all will have some experiences that like no one else has had, being high school seniors during a pandemic. That's like, it's insane that we really think about it, you know, when this is like for real. This is not, you know, TV, you know, it's not Hollywood. This is actually a real situation going on. So I really want to encourage it and tell you, keep up the good work. Hang in there. Okay, let's switch gears here. Let's talk about parents. Okay. Can a parent keep a kid from drinking or using drugs? If so, how? If not, why not?
I think the short answer is no.
Okay.
At home they can. At home they can definitely do. They can do everything in their power to stop them.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as that kid leaves the door, it's anything you've taught the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what you put in the kid's mind, what you tell them, is what's going to influence their decisions. So you can definitely like make them not do it, like just telling them all the bad things that could happen if you do it.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, you can't stop them as soon as they leave that door.
Okay.
It's the kid's decision whether they listen or not.
Okay. So I'm hearing a couple things though. I am hearing having a parent should have some conversations.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's ultimately the kid's choice.
And the kid does have a decision. I mean, it is them. The parent can do everything they can to stop them in their household and everything. But like when you send them to school, parents not there.
Yeah. Do y'all mind sharing a little bit about your experience with being parented? Like, what do you think was beneficial? What would you what was the most beneficial? What would you say in your decision? Did your parents influence you at all?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, influence your decision not to use, not influence you not. Elizabeth said, yeah.
Yeah, I think my parents have influenced me a lot not to try anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess it's just that repetition of just that constant like, don't do this, and they like gave me facts, and everything like that. So. Okay.
Now, Elizabeth, you did some research on your own though, as well, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. What was the reasoning behind that? I believe you wrote didn't you write a piece for a paper or something?
Yeah. For the news of.
Mine was published first.
Nice. And you did one too, Isaac?
No way. Mine was published first. Then hers was. Let's get this straight.
I see. All right. So what was the objective? What was the reasoning? How did that come about that you all were writing, doing some research on drugs and writing papers? That's huge, getting published.
That was once again through Orange County Adapt, the Orange Partnership Program.
Okay.
Our leader asked if any of us would be interested in writing a piece for our newspaper just during the COVID time.
Yeah.
This was after doing a radio talk show skit about alcohol and tobacco use.
Really? Where is it? Where is that? Can I see that somewhere? Is there a link?
I'm not too sure about that. I can definitely get back to you on that.
Okay, yeah, send me a link. I would love to see that.
All right.
I love to see those productions. They're like so hilarious sometimes, but there's usually a lot of truth to them. I want to commend you all for doing that. That was really good. So you all have some research-based information to maybe help your decision some.
Yeah, these programs that we've been in have kind of like also shown us, like, as we talk to people, we kind of see. We also get information ourselves too. So
yeah, that's great. Do you find yourselves talking to your friends about drugs, alcohol, tobacco, other drugs?
Once in a while.
Elizabeth, you do. Interesting. What are those conversations like? Are you the educator in that situation?
Yes and no. I think it's just a group conversation. I don't remember what brought it up one time, but I think we were talking about it. I think we had seen somebody at school, not personally, but we had seen just somebody, and we just talked about that.
Right. Yeah. That's so awesome. What should a parent not do when trying to keep a kid from using drugs? Give parents some pointers.
I guess, lead by example.
Okay, example's big.
Yeah, like
Yep.
no excessive alcohol. Like I think
Mhm.
like drinking alcohol as an adult is fine. Well,
Mhm.
over 21 is
Mhm.
fine because I mean, as long as you don't drink and drive and all those things.
Right, right, right.
But like, don't like bench drink. Then the kid sees it. The kid's gonna think, oh, this is all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think the parents, the kids' ultimate
Mm-hmm.
person they follow. If they've been with them all their life, if they're their biggest influence. I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. So setting the example. How about consequences? I mean, what should consequences? Should there be consequences? Like, say,
Yeah, I
like what
think
might that look like?
I think like if my parent would catch me like drinking and drive or something like that, I think they should take my license away personally.
Ooh,
I
wow.
mean,
For
like
how long?
it's a big problem. You shouldn't
It
drink and
is.
drive. It's
It
like
is.
you're not only putting yourself at risk, you're putting other people at risk too, which is
Uh-huh.
terrible.
Absolutely. It's so selfish to do that, and it's super dangerous.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
there's no
Yeah.
reason to do that. Just either stay the
Yeah.
night, call a cab, or get a friend, or call
Yeah.
someone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no
Absolutely.
excuse
Yeah.
because you had alcohol doesn't mean you can't make like decisions for yourself. You can still think, just not as clearly. But like,
Yeah. 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 Um, let's see. Anything else a parent should not do when trying to keep a kid from using drugs or drinking?
definitely don't give it to them.
Okay.
don't supply.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Now
some parents
listen,
do that.
there are some parents that would say, you know what? I think my kid really should. How are they going to learn if I don't teach them how to drink responsibly? How are they going to learn?
They say that, or they say better me than someone else, or something. They make that excuse.
Home than outside.
Yeah.
Huh? I've had parents after a presentation come up to me. I was in Singapore, and the parent comes up to me, it's Australian guy, and says, "You know what? I just finished an hour of the risks, the dangers, the benefits, and not consuming." And he comes up to me after the presentation. He says, "Yeah, you know, I don't mind if my son has a pint with his mates." And when he said pint, they're talking about a pint of beer. I'm like, okay, well, good luck with that. I don't know what else to say. I'm like, well, you know, the research, I can't tell about a parent, but yeah, the research shows. Let me ask you this. For that kid who drinks at home at the dinner table, is it drinking the same at the party?
No, I think at that. I mean, so it's, a lot of countries, it's like 18 for
Yeah,
drinking.
some is 16, some 14.
So,
yeah, oh yeah,
there's
yeah.
different ways of thinking about that, I guess. If you lower the age, you make it less special. It's not like it's kind of like calling sweet things dessert. You idolize it, it makes it a special thing. Same with drinking. If you lower it, on the other side, when you lower it, it makes it not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Drinking. So I guess people don't do it excessively because it's sneaky and fun.
I see.
If you drink when you eat food, to complement the food.
Right.
As a special thing, so you're not bench drinking it. You're drinking it to complement the food.
Okay. Okay. I hear you. I hear you.
There's different ways of thinking about it. There's different sides.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Elizabeth, what do you think? Is the drinking at home the same as the drinking at the party?
Definitely not. Cause I don't know. I haven't had any personal experiences with that. But,
Okay.
I guess at parties you probably have a lot of hard liquor. Like I don't know. What are some examples, like vodka or something like that? And I guess at home, if you're with your parents, I guess maybe a lot of older people like mixed drinks, and I think those aren't those a lot less. They have a lot less alcohol in them, percentage-wise.
They can be actually more, because if a person's pouring, and liquor by far has the most amount of alcohol in it by volume. It goes, if you look at it, usually you'll find liquor has the highest amount, then maybe wine, and then beer. We're talking about alcohol by volume. So if a person is drinking, let's say, 3 shots, that's like 3 whole beers. If a person's having 2 glasses of wine, that's like 2 shots. If it's 5 ounces of wine compared to 5 ounces of a shot of liquor or a 12-ounce beer. But in other countries where the drinking age is lower, you'll find that if you look at it statistically, that the drinking outside of the house is way higher. Actually,
Yeah.
more is here in the U.S. actually. And we have more car accidents that are alcohol related amongst teenagers than other countries because we have more cars. Cars are more readily available. In some countries, they barely, everyone takes public transportation. But here in the U.S., it's recommended that a parent does not give their kid alcohol. It doesn't create a responsible drinker. I'll put it this way. We've seen very little, if any, research to support the idea that allowing a kid to drink at home creates a responsible drinker. Not to say it doesn't happen, because in some cases it does happen. But there's a ton of research to support the idea that allowing a kid to drink at home creates a drinker. But when they're with their peers, would you all agree that teenagers take more chances when they're around their friends?
Probably because peer pressure.
For sure, yeah. Peer pressure again, yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you're doing shots with mom at the dinner table, or if you guys are doing keg stands, then that's a major problem. That's a whole different level.
That's a problem in itself.
That's a whole different level of discussion. All right. So, okay, we got to move on. I don't want to hold y'all too long though. We're gonna wrap it up in a few, but messages. Let's do this real quick. Let's do a role play. Do y'all mind?
Yeah, no, that's
Okay. Isaac, I'm the son. You're dad. All right. I want to go to a party, but there's probably going to be drinking there. I'm pretty sure there will be. All right. So, Dad, I got all my chores done. I got my homework done. I got an A on that test last week. I'm killing it. I cut the grass and I took out the trash. Can I go to the party?
Don't do drugs, son.
Come on, Dad. I know. Come on, I don't do drugs.
All right, well,
I'll be honest with you. There might be some drinking there.
are you gonna drink?
No, of course not. I don't drink.
Promise?
I promise, Dad.
All right.
Cross my heart
Don't
open.
drink. And if you do, God forbid you do, call me. Don't drive home.
Okay. All right. And scene. Okay. Great job. Let me ask you this. Do you think that giving a kid that option, if you do you think that creates
I don't know, but like,
a green light?
how do you? Yeah, I know what you're saying, but how do you still remind them that, like, if it does happen, he's like, you don't want it to happen, obviously, but if it does, you don't want them driving home and trying to not tell you.
Mm-mm.
So
Yeah.
how do you remind them that, like,
Yeah.
you're still there to support them? Like,
Mhm.
if the worst thing happens,
Yeah.
you're still there for them, because you don't want them to drive home and not tell you because they're worried.
Exactly.
You have to be that trusting adult.
Uh-huh.
So, I don't
Elizabeth.
know.
Elizabeth, what do you think as a parent?
I agree, definitely. There's not a way you can really monitor what they do at that party.
Mhm.
At least they told you they were going, or asked you, I should say.
Mhm.
But if you want to remind them, it's better to remind them with a consequence rather than say, hey, go drink, that's fine with me, and
see,
just
I see.
open that gate for that student to do that.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is there are levels of prevention. There's some consequences in place, and it sounds like you kind of set the tone saying, I don't want you to drink, and if you do, there are going to be some consequences. But if something happens, call me, no matter what. Do you see what parents are dealing with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
I
see
think-
the level of decision making that parents have to deal with?
Yeah, supposedly if they've been enforcing not drinking for a long time before the party, there shouldn't be a problem, supposedly.
Yeah.
Because, like, at that point, you might not even have to remind them. You should be able to just be like, yeah, you can go to the party at that point.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is you haven't given me a reason not to trust you. So I'm going to trust you to make healthy decisions.
Yeah.
But
as
you
long as that trust is
realize-
broken, yeah.
Yeah. But you realize you can call me for whatever reason and I'm coming to get you. I really believe most parents would operate under that idea that no matter, I'm coming to get you. Just call me. I'm not going to beat you up that night, but we might have to have a conversation the next day
Maybe tomorrow.
about what happened. Hopefully there will be no beating going on that night. All right. Okay, so last question for parents, or last comment for parents. What message to parents would you share with them, that those parents that may tune in as a teenager, what message would you give them?
be open-minded with your kids. Not so much that you let them do what they want, but make sure you're listening to what they have to say. And if they tell you that they've been like doing any kind of drug or drinking behind their back, let them explain their reason and try to talk it out with them before being that authoritative parent and being like, oh yeah, no.
I love that idea of say that other part, the first part again. Say that again. You said, what was the first thing you gave parents? You told it was so much that went on there. Say again.
To talk it out with them.
Talk it out with them. Talk it out with them. And realize that kids are gonna make mistakes. Would you all agree? Kids make mistakes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, adults do too. Adults do too. But you all are trying to figure out as teenagers, try to figure out what works, what doesn't work. You'll find teenagers sometimes pushing limits because your objective as a teenager is to get out of the house. So you're going to try new things. You're going to try things, and yeah, you may bump your head every once in a while. But I love the fact you said, don't freak out. Don't freak out, because if I come to you and tell you something and you freak out, I'm probably not going to tell you anything ever again. And now you're walking around with secrets, and you may not reach out for help when you need it. Yeah, I love that. That's great. Isaac, same question.
I guess just be that trusting adult. Don't freak out, like you said. Just, like, make sure that like you're not like on their side completely when there's something wrong. Like, don't go, oh, yeah, it's fine. Don't blow it off. Still, but don't make a big deal about it. Not the time, like, especially if they're coming from the party, you don't want to like get mad at them then, because they're not in their right mind at that part. They've already done the thing. Yeah, you gotta do it. Yeah. Gotta do it a different day, something. But like at that point, that's the crucial point. That's where you can go wrong. If you yell at them at that point, they'll never talk to you again. They won't. But if you're understanding, you say, okay, we'll talk about this tomorrow. Let's go get some sleep. They're gonna talk to you in the morning. It's gonna be a lot better. Yeah. Because you don't want to lose that trust that you have for your kid. If you lose it, then they're never going to tell you anything again, and you won't know. You'll be in the dark. What's happening? And that's how you like get little sneaky kids. That's how you get it.
I heard a couple things. Consequences in place.
Yeah.
I believe you mentioned that earlier.
You want to talk about that in the morning. You don't want to talk about because like they're not in the mood to hear at that point.
Right. But I mean, as a parent, could you imagine a kid that is allowed to do pretty much whatever they want to do, like without any consequence?
Yeah, those are the kids that you don't want your kid to be around.
So you know those kids. You've seen those kids before. Yeah. My parent lets me do whatever I want to do. Yeah, they usually doesn't work out well for that kid. Not usually.
Not in the future,
yeah. I think we need some structure. Actually, the research and the statistics show, the experts say, they got to have boundaries. Kids got to have boundaries. Yeah.
They have to learn them from somewhere.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Okay. Anything else for parents? Anything else?
No.
Okay. Let's talk to your school real quick. What are some things that your school does to deal with underage drinking and or drug use? And is it helpful or no?
They don't permit it.
Okay. So, all right. So can't do it. And listen, that's changed, because years ago, there were almost no consequences for smoking cigarettes, and cigarette smoking on campus was rampant. So there are some boundaries in place where drug use is not permitted. So that's one level of prevention. What else? What else does your school do, if anything?
I know we had some posters up before school ended. I don't know if they helped or not, but they were always there, and I personally like to look at everything that's up. So, colorful posters kind of catch your eye. Yep.
Can you quote one of them? Do you remember any of them?
I think one of them was about having a nicotine addiction with Juuls.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. That's called a marketing campaign. Usually it's prevention, where they'll put up little silent seminars. 97% or I don't know, 84% of kids don't Juul. Juul has hydrogen peroxide, has all these chemicals in it. What else? It just sends a message. We're not lecturing, but it sends a message, and hopefully it sinks in eventually. Have you all seen the ads for the anti-vaping ads on TV here?
Yeah, from Truth.
Which one do you remember, if any?
the one with the cup of water and they put it in, the jewel in. That's the one I remember.
They're quitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a big campaign to help kids quit. Do you remember any of them, Elizabeth? Have you seen any of them?
I think that was the one I've seen the most with the cup and the water.
Yeah. Do y'all remember the puppets they used to use a while back, saying one jewel is worth like a pack of cigarettes, something like one pod has about as much nicotine as a pack. Yeah, those are anti-vaping ads, and they're supposed to be really helpful. Okay, so anything else that your school does, and has it been helpful, or no?
I think it's been helpful. It's definitely not hurting anything. Does our school do I think you can talk to counselors about if you think you or your friend has a problem. I think they're willing to talk and not punish you for coming in, which is really big.
That's really big.
Yeah.
That's highly recommended as well. Yeah, that there's some support available, especially with this whole nicotine thing with the jewel, because kids are literally for a long time we're getting hooked on the level of nicotine. So, okay. Do you think your school should do more or less, or are they doing enough?
I think all schools should do more. There's like never too much.
Yeah, there's never enough you can do.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, that's valuable information. Okay. I think that's all I got for you. Yeah. Questions for me, if any?
What was the group you said you worked with? You said you went to schools. What was that group?
FCD, Prevention Works. They're out of Boston, Massachusetts, and they literally would send me around different schools and it would mostly private schools because of the flexibility and scheduling that a lot of private schools have that state supported schools may not have. FCD Prevention Works.
Then how about the language barrier? You said you go around to other countries, right?
Yeah.
There's a language barrier, or like?
I speak about 18 languages.
Whoa.
No, just joking. Can you imagine?
That's crazy.
No, right?
Go through all of them really quick.
Yeah. No, all the schools that I worked at were all English-speaking schools. There are English-speaking schools throughout the entire world because there are, English is like, I would say the number one language. It's like the universal language that's taught.
It's becoming it. If it's not already. Yeah.
Exactly. So the schools that I worked at were all English-speaking schools. There was one school I worked at. Actually, it wasn't even a school. It was like a military compound in Nepal. And I was speaking to some parents, and they spoke the students spoke English, but the parents didn't really. They were older, and they said if I spoke very slowly, it would be helpful. And I spoke at about this pace and it was terrible. Oh my goodness, it drove me nuts. But they had an issue with, I think it was inhalants. But other than that, I've never had an issue. Cab drivers for sure. Yeah. Cab drivers in different countries. The taxis and getting around could be hairy. But I highly recommend if you get a chance, go to other countries. Not now. Stay here.
The U.S. has to stay here, yeah.
Stay here now. But if you can, go to other countries because it'll give you a much different perspective on the world in general. There are some beautiful people all over the world. I tell you, it's really interesting when you go and see, some of the things that are out there. Thank you all so much. I tell you, I can't. My heart is exploding right now. You all have been so helpful. And I'm wondering if you all might be interested in the future because you all are my experts. You've given some very insightful information today that I really believe students as well as parents will be able to take and use for their own experiences. Do y'all think y'all could I reach out to you in the future for this type of thing?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for listening today, and we will see you in the next video.